Good afternoon. Welcome to the TheoTrade afternoon video. I'm Blake Young, and today is March 19th, 2026, and we're going to talk about a warning sign that's coming from gold and the dollar, and we're seeing it feed into other aspects of the market. And to start with, we're going to pull up the dollar, as you can see on this chart. This is the dollar index. The dollar index represents the dollar versus a basket of currencies. And so we've had a significant run up for the dollar, going from 95 up to 100. There are some years that the dollar doesn't move out of a 2% range, and we've already seen a 5%, 6% run up in 2 months. So this is a monstrous move for the dollar to regain. The dollar has been kind of acting as a safe harbor. But just over the last 5 days, you can see we're averaging about a month to 2 months move up, down, down, up, down, back and forth, back and forth. So we are scrambling to reposition on what the dollar is going to be worth. The market is unsure whether they can trust the dollar to be this strong. We're back at a previous resistance. We're acting at support. That is in and of itself concerning because we know it could fall 2.5% to 3%. It could rise again. And the fact that the dollar is up 5% while we have rising inflation, that means that everybody else in the world, comparatively, is dealing with even worse inflation and other struggles. But we're still not sure whether we want to stay in the long dollar. If we're dealing with inflation in the U.S. that is, according to PPI, according to CPI, that is now rising and going up faster than what we had anticipated, and the dollar has been gaining value during those same time frames, that would infer that other countries are dealing with 6, 7, 8% inflation. If we're dealing with global inflation, you would not expect to see what we've seen with gold. Gold is reversed sharply. Now, compare today's move in the dollar lost 0.68%. Like I said, that is a couple of months worth of price action in most months. Now, if we compare that to gold futures today and yesterday and the day before, and really from this peak, we've dropped not from the highest peak to the lowest peak, but after the recovery, we've dropped from 54.30, and today we touched down at 44.90. So almost 1,000 points. We're approaching 20% drop in the last 3 weeks. So if gold is selling off, we're not hedging out gold, and the dollar is selling off today as well. That means inflation theoretically is going higher because the dollar is losing purchasing power, and yet hedges against inflation is going down as well. We are liquidating precious metals, and we're liquidating precious metals in an inflationary environment. That is a warning. I'm not sure whether it'll be the dollar or it'll be the euro or who will end up controlling this next move, but the sell-off in gold is very uncertain and sketchy. Now, we might recover and close back up, but this low support from the flash crash back through here, if we stay below there, the next level for gold is 43.38 from the way I read this chart. We've crossed below the zero on the Chaikin. We've crossed through the average. We're selling off with volume. Today's volume is already approaching 200% of average. And so this sell-off is not just a little sell-off. It's a committed sell-off. And bearishness is likely to continue. So we're talking another 5% lower minimum in metals and gold. Now that's going to hurt the metals and mining companies like FCX and Freeport, Newmont Mining, Nucor, and a lot of those others. But as we're seeing that fall, again, the fact that it's going dollars falling and gold is falling together on the same day, this is uncertainty. And this is when we've had country after country, Swiss National Bank, European Central Bank, and the U.S. Federal Reserve have all left rates high because we have to combat inflation. This is screaming at me that we are still fighting inflation. If you look at the indexes and look at all the sectors and all the major moves today, everything is selling off except for oil and energy. So if we look at the ES, or the S&P 500, you can see we just broke through the previous support over here as well. All the support levels going back through October are being broken through, and again, we're going to be higher than normal volume today. Notice as well that the Chaikin has crossed the zero. This is the first time we've been below that zero, below the average, on a break of support at the same time in the last year. This is significant. This sell-off and this acceleration is significant. So this does give us opportunities to take bearish trades. I will be looking for bearish trades in consumer discretionary. I will be looking for bearish trades in technology, communication, and I'm going to be looking to be more defensive going into utilities for the dividend and for the short put premium. Same thing with consumer staples in these markets. If this is going to continue, then I will lean in further and more so into consumer finance companies. Let's first look at consumer discretionary. Now we know that Tesla is overweighted in the consumer discretionary sector, and you see almost identical view here. This is a bearish breakout, clearing the lows. Tesla, I believe, has a move at least down to 360, and that's going to give you probably about a 30-point move, about 8% drop. And there's going to be opportunities to trade options on. If we look at the short call vertical with a delta between 30 and 40, selling the 40 delta, buying the next strike out, that's the 395 versus 400. You can see that trade will pay you about $1.85, $1.90 credit if you can get to the mid price. So if you work that order and get paid $1.90, $1.85, your risk on that is going to be $2.15. Excuse me, $3.15. And you have to be right about 62% of the time for this to work. I think it's going to have a higher probability than that because of the way it's trading through that support. Even if it comes back and retests the previous resistance, our risk doesn't kick into 395 and we don't hit max loss until 400. Go back to the chart with me. That means we have to fill the gap and clear this high on the breakout, which we're doing with better than average volume today. So I like the bearish position that pays us a credit, but you could do a put vertical on this one as well. One of the other ones I'm looking at in conjunction with this idea that consumer finance companies are going to struggle, consumer discretionary spending is going to struggle, is going to be focused on some of these car companies that do the. And Carvana just put in a new low. We could look at Carvax, but Carvana is the one that I think is going to be struggling the most. Now you can see we gapped down, traded to a low, and we've recovered. But notice where we're recovering to. I know we have an hour left, but we've recovered to basically retest yesterday's close. Not only yesterday's close, look at the close price, 291.17. Coming back over here, what's the value? That close, 290.14. So we're within 3 pennies of each other on these low closes. If we dip just about 50 cents today, Carvana will have broken down from a double top, gone full target, and broken the 6-month low. We take a look at a year, and what's our next expectation? This is clearing out all of these lows. This is the low that goes all the way back to June of last year. If we're clearing that today and confirming old support as new resistance, what's the next barrier? Carvana looks like it could go from 290 at least back to the top here at 222, and we're talking about a 70-point drop. I think you could really drop into the 170 range, which means I'm looking for 25 to 40% drop in price. The tricky thing with Carvana is the stock is more expensive and the options are $10 wide. But just a minute ago, we had a 42 delta here. That's where I'd like to go as the highest level. I'd sell a call. But selling the call vertical here, can I get paid at least 25 cents per dollar wide? Or in other words, can I get paid $2.50 on this $10 wide? And they're saying we could probably get upwards of 380. 380 is going to give us a 62% probability that we need, and selling a delta of 42 is going to give us about a 58% as far as our max gain, and about 64% versus max loss. So we're right in the sweet spot where I think it's a fair trade that you could sell the call vertical up there. But it does take $680 some risk to make 38. If we're going to drop lower faster quicker, then I would look to do a similar trade by doing out of the money verticals or doing that in out spread by buying a delta in the money. Try to pick this up with a delta near 70. It's going to cost a little bit more, but it's going to give you a lot better, bigger opportunities. So if I can buy that 70, that's going to be $47.95. And if we're going to sell that premium at least the $9 and a delta between 30 and 40, we can go with the 270. And that's going to be a $31 trade. But this gets us closer to 1-to-1 and better than break even. I think either one works. It just depends on which risk you're willing to take for the opportunity. So yes, this would take about $3,158. There's zero time decay working against you. Your break even on this is $2.99, and as long as it stays where it's at or lower, you'll make money, and theoretically upwards of $3,000. And I do think you could take a trade on CarMax as well, but CarMax doesn't have the same amount of exposure as Carvana does, because Carvana did a lot of in-house financing and used companies like Klarna and Affirm and Ally and Capital One Financial as well, but they took on a lot of the risks themselves. So I'll watch for a bounce on CarMax and do the same thing here, but Carvana is a better trade. And again, we will be looking at consumer discretionary and consumer finance companies like Ally, Affirm, Klarna, Capital One Financial in the near term for opportunities to step back into bearish trades in that area. All right, watch out. That's what it comes down to today. Be very, very careful when we see gold selling off aggressively, the dollar selling off aggressively. That means we're leaving gold as a safe haven for inflation, but the dollar is getting weaker in its purchasing power, which is going to be inflationary. And while oil prices are rising, it is still confirming stagflation. That will hit consumer discretionary probably harder than anywhere else, and that will feed into finance companies, consumer discretionary, and consumer finance specifically. All right, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you tomorrow.